Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films, back again with Death Note. Last time on Death Note, we had Overcast. Continuing on with Shoko Maki, Light decided, you know what, time to kill her. And he was going to basically use the piece of the Death Note to not only write down her name, but make it look like it was just a suicide, and not really linkable to Kira. So he wrote down her name, and nothing happened. Odd. Until he finally realized that Shoko Maki was an alias. So, yeah, basically a desperate Light had to figure out what this girl's name is. And it was interesting, and eventually he did get it. And, oh, like the dick he is, he just enjoyed killing her. Oh, it was horrible. Meanwhile, at the task force, everyone got a new alias to go by so that they, can't... Basically so that it'll be harder for Kira to kill them. And they also got cool spy belts, but just don't overreact to it like Matsuda did. But yeah, they got these cool spy belts to keep in contact with Watari, and yeah. That was pretty much that, actually. This is where I say no spoilers in the comments whatsoever. And this is also where I say that due to copyright issues, the reaction cannot be hosted in this video. If you want to watch my nice highlight reaction, with me, I'm sitting here, it's got the footage in the corner, all that good stuff. If you want to watch that, you can go down to the description or to the pinned comment of on this video. There'll be a link there. It'll take you over to Google Drive, where you can go and watch my reaction to this episode of Death Note. It's all nice and good. And when you're done with that, you can head back over to this YouTube video and be sure you watch that discussion. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Here we go. They're both just too good. They're both just too good. L's not gonna fall for the obvious. He's not gonna fall for the innocent act Light is putting on. Wouldn't that have been some shit, though, if one of, his mother or his sister was watching the news? Oh, that would be horrible. Man, episode 8, he's starting to hone in on Light. There's 30 more episodes in this show. I don't know where we're going. Okay. Let's just start going over the notes. The first thing I wrote down was advanced deaths. So, not that, he's getting more advanced with how he's killing people, but he's writing down names in advance so that, in case he, gets hospitalized or something, if he goes into a coma, as one of the people that the FBI were investigating, if he goes into a coma and killings stop, that's gonna start shining a spotlight on him being Kira. So he does plan ahead for it, which is lucky that he's planning ahead on deaths, because he really needed that this time around, because he really couldn't do much with he couldn't do much while there was all that surveillance. But yeah, L is starting to home in on Kira. He is now investigating. He's now looking after two households, and both of them in connection to Ray Penber, the people that Ray Penber was watching, specifically because of Shoko Maki. I know that's not her real name, but I keep saying Shoko Maki. I'm used to it now, so I'm just gonna keep going with that. But yeah, because L knows, she wouldn't just kill herself. So I like that he's, I like that he's starting to hone in. It's interesting to watch, basically this giant game of chess. It's like chess if you both had masks on, basically. So that's really interesting. And yeah, so, and in order for, decency, only L and Chief Yagami are going to be watching over the Yagami house, which makes sense, and I totally understand. Was it Matsuda and Aizawa? I just want to say Aizawa, but then I keep thinking of Eraserhead from MHA. So, so the two of them, completely objecting to this sort of surveillance, and especially when L even says, like, there's only like a 5% chance that Kira actually is in one of these households, but he's gonna do it anyway. So yeah. But, interestingly, Chief Yagami was fully on board. He hated it. You can tell that he hated that his own family had to be put under surveillance. But he had to go along with it in order to catch Kira. So, yeah, and even he is kind of picking up on... like, Light being... something up with Light, like when he was just looking at magazines of girls and stuff, he's just like, that's all he wanted to hide. And interestingly enough, L was the one who was like, well, he's 17, makes sense. I remember when I was 17, and I get that too. I remember when I was 17 5 years ago. Oh shit, was it just 5 years? Yeah, I guess it was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I didn't have a beard. Then I grew it immediately. This is actually... Okay, quick little thing. I've had this beard for 5 years now. I've had this channel for 5 years now. Almost. The 23rd, October 23rd, will be the 5-year anniversary of 7th Hour Films. Little known fact. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. What was I saying beforehand? Oh, the stuff about being 17. Yeah. That was interesting, even Chief Yagami kind of picking up on, it's like, he goes to all this lengths to hide something, and then it's just some magazine with, hot girls in it. Yeah. So what is it? And this is 2007? 2007, so I guess there's not too much internet porn. I don't know. I mean, 2007, so this is 12 years ago from now. I don't know. But it is kind of one of those things where I have to step back and it's like, oh yeah, this is back in the day when, you just had magazines. Like, this is before, presumably because they did this before the advent of internet porn. I like how even Light, to kind of keep his cover, he's just like, covers are always misleading. It's like, I guess. What were you looking for? I don't know. I guess he was looking for some full nudity. Anyway. So yeah, the surveillance was interesting. I do feel bad for Chief Yagami that he has to go through this. That he has to basically spy on his own house. That does suck. Okay. So, we've gone on about, in past episodes about how Ryuk he's not going to help. He's not going to help Light out because there's nothing in it for him. He just wants to watch, He doesn't really care what happens to Light. But I like that Light still found a way to manipulate him. It's like, well, while there's cameras in my room, you can't eat apples. Because yeah, I like that, because if you can't see the Shinigami, you can still see the apple, and then the apple just disappears. So I thought that was actually really funny. And, Ryu going through his whole withdrawal symptoms from not eating apples, because it's like, oh, it's like alcohol or cigarettes to humans. It's like, really? Just apples? I don't know. I find that funny. And then through this through this, Light is like, okay, well, if you want to eat apples again, I guess you're just going to have to find all the cameras. And Ryuk's like, yeah, let's go find all the cameras. And he does. He finds all 64 cameras that are in Light's room, which is cool. So, yeah, I thought that was actually pretty amazing that Light can still just barely enough, like just enough to count. He can actually manipulate Ryuk into doing something for him. But just by playing on his desires for apples. So yeah. And then we got the potato chip scene. Okay, so he did have the Death Note, because they don't know about the Death Note. L doesn't know about the Death Note, so he can still get it out, and if you just cover the the words Death Note, you can still get it out, and it just looks like a normal notebook. And, they can't see what he's writing. It just looks like he's studying. And, if he doesn't have the TV on, he doesn't have a computer on or anything, so he can't get any information. But what he ended up doing was buying a $400 tiny-ass, freaking tiny LCD TV that he put into a bag of potato chips so that he can watch the news and write down criminals and have them die, so that it would seem like, okay, Kira is off doing something else. He just killed these 2 criminals that we put on the news, whereas no one in Light's house was watching the news. So that was really interesting, and I love how over dramatic it is. I'm just gonna I'm gonna solve equations with my right hand and write down names with my left hand. I'll take a potato chip and eat it. It's like, oh my gosh. He's so insane. I love it, though. He's just so crazy. It's almost like he's getting off on it, on how much he's able to do. It's like, yeah, I can do this. I can just sit here and eat a potato chip, L. Oh, so that's amazing. And yeah, and then the fact that, because he put it into the bag of chips, so then he was able to just throw it away, and the next day was garbage day. Garbage day! So he threw it away, and that TV is gone. There's nothing, it's evidence that's gone now. So that's really amazing. But through all of this act he just put up for L is not entirely buying it. He thinks that the family is a little too innocent to not be Kira, which is definitely really interesting. So we'll have to see how much else he does next time. But that's all I wrote down. Really good episode, and I'm very curious where we're going next time. So with all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Death Note reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.